All right, class, welcome back. This is going to be the video on graphing circles. And need a little background here. The formula or the standard form for graphing a circle is that the radius squared is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Well, R stands for the radius. The radius is from any point from the center of the circle to the outside is the radius. The center point is exactly in the center of the circle, and those will be h and k. Now we have the same thing going on here that we did with a parabola. This is a minus here. So if I have x minus 2, this is going to shift the center right, the opposite of what you think. If I had x plus 2, this is going to shift it left 2. Okay, and if I have y minus 3, instead of shifting down here, this will shift up, because of this negative here, it does the opposite. So this is going to shift up 3. And if I had y plus 3, then this would shift down 3, the center point. Okay, so let's start graphing this circle. So basically, if there is no h or k, so here we just have x squared, which is the same thing as x minus 0 squared, just be x squared. So my center point here for x would be 0. So the x coordinate is 0, and the x coordinate for y is 0. Remember that your radius isn't 16 because this is the radius squared, so we're always going to have to take the square root of this. So if I take the square root of 16, that is 4. So my radius of this circle is 4 units. Again, whatever the units are, these, if you were graphing or if you had inches or whatever you're talking about. So this could be 4 units. So this is a graph, how to graph the circle that's in standard form for this equation right here. X squared plus y squared equals 16. The center point is at 0, 0. And the radius is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means from everywhere I'm going to go out 4. Now my graphs, we all know, are mostly perfect. No, I'm just kidding. You know that they suck a lot. So that was going to be a pretty good circle until I got over here. Anyway, so this is what this circle would look like. And from here to any point on the outside, from this center of 0, 0 to any point on the outside would be 4 units. Okay, that's what this says. So let's, again, go through one that has some shifts in it. So we'll do 2 different ones here, one that has a y shift and one that has an x shift. And figure out what our center is and our circle and the radius. Okay, right here there's no h value, so my x point of the center of my circle is going to be 0. Here my y value is 4, but remember, if I were to write this in standard form, it would be a negative 4 because I have the opposite of k, or the only way that this sign right here could be positive is if I was actually subtracting a negative. So this is the value for k, which is negative 4. Okay, so this is where my center point to this circle is, and to find the radius I'm going to take the square root of 9. So my radius is 3. So what does this circle look like? Well, it is going to be shifted downward, my center point's going to be right here. And from here, I'm going to go out 3 in every direction. Okay, so center is at 0, -4. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is going to look like this. Okay, again, with the center point here being this ordered pair and the distance from here to here, or the radius, being 3 units. Okay, so that's a shift with my y. Well, what does a shift with x look like? Well, again, my center point here, for this to be negative, this is in the correct format, so h itself is just 3. So my center point here is going to be 3, and y has no shift at all because there's no k value here. The square root of 4, I have to take the square root because this formula has r squared, and I want to know just what r is. So the radius here is going to be 2. So what does this look like? Well, this is going to be a circle that is shifted 3 to the right. So my center point will be right here, and it will have a radius of 2. So from that center point, I'm going to go out 2 in every direction, and then complete this circle. So it will look something like this. That's kind of an ugly one, but yeah. All right, whatever. It's not going to get any better. Again, from the center point to the outside is a distance of 2, because that is our radius here. Okay, so let's do one more of these with a shift for both, and maybe something that doesn't work out so pretty for the radius. So let's see what we get here. So let's do x plus 1 squared, y minus 3 squared, and our radius squared is 12. All right, so let's first identify our center point. Our center point is going to be a -1. Again, this is -1 because if this was minus a -1, the value of h would be -1. I have to have a subtract here. So this is going to be a -1, and here the y or k value is just going to be 3. So my center of the circle is at -1, 3. Square root of 12 can actually be simplified. So we could say this is 4 times 3. So this is going to be 2. So the radius is going to be equal to 2 root 3. Well, what does that mean? Well, 2 root 3. Root 3 is going to be about 2. It's going to be just less than 2. So this is going to be just less than 4. So we'll say this is almost 4. So it's a little bit less than 4. Again, you could calculate this on your calculator, but for graphing purposes, again, we're just looking for a number that's just slightly less than 4. So my center here is going to be at -1, 3. So the center of my circle is here. And then my radius is going to be a little less than 4. So let's say 1, 2, 3, and some 1, 2, 3, and some 1, 2, 3, and some, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and some. Again, that distance of the square root of 12, we don't know what that is exactly. Wow, that was the most pitiful circle. All right, but this center point again is -1, 3, and the distance from here to here is 2 square roots 3, the radius. All right, so this graphing doesn't get any more complicated than this. You just need to remember what R stands for and how to find the center point, and that these shifts shift opposite of what you would think.